Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Crystal Haynes. Tonight on Greater Boston, anti-Semitic and anti-Islamic acts are sprouting up across the country as the conflict in Gaza wages on. I'll talk with the regional director of the Anti-Defamation League and the director of research at Arab Center, Washington, D.C. about it. Plus, the MBTA wants to add a stop on the blue line to connect it to the red line. GBH News transportation reporter Bob Seay will join me with more. And finally, the legacy of Bob Ross lives on in Massachusetts through the state's only certified Ross instructor. As war between Israel and Hamas rages, violence and hate has escalated here at home, shaking both Jewish and Palestinian communities in the U.S. In Illinois, a 6-year-old Palestinian boy was stabbed to death by the landlord of the apartment he was living in, and police believe it was a hate crime. Across the country, swastikas have appeared in protests, and hate speech against Jews have soared on social media. And that's only added to the ongoing fear among Jewish communities across the country, who have again were the target of far more hate crimes last year than any other religious group. That's according to FBI data. So joining me tonight with more on how all of this is affecting American Jewish and Palestinian communities and how the country can push back are the regional director of the Anti-Defamation League, Rabbi Jonah Steinberg, and Imad Harb, the director of research and analysis at the Arab Center, Washington, D.C., and a former professor of Middle East Studies at Georgetown University. Thank you so much for joining me, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Rabbi, I want to start with you. You know, we've seen this data come out of the FBI and, of course, analysis by the ADL. When we see the devastating events like we saw recently in Gaza, how does your organization and others sort of prepare for what could be an uptick in hate crime and hate speech?
Well, it certainly is, Crystal, and with due respect for the difference, just as we don't know the full numbers of casualties in Israel and in Gaza, we do not yet know what all the echoes will be on this side of the sea. As you mentioned, last year, our New England region saw a dramatic increase in anti-Semitic incidents, and in Massachusetts, for instance, we saw a 41% increase in anti-Semitic incidents. And to give you a sense of what that is, that's 152 incidents that we tracked in 2022, by contrast to 108 the year previous and 73 to the year previous to that. But this is a horrific time, Crystal, for Jewish community, but also I'm sure for Dr. Harb's community. We saw in our Boston area a Palestinian cultural center deface in a really vile instance of what we understand to be a hate crime. And we called that out because nothing makes hate right.
Dr. Harb, when you hear these stories like the one in Illinois we're mentioning, the one locally that Rabbi Steinberg mentioned, I mean, in your experience, is it a scenario in which you're playing out in your head? How do we prepare the communities that we represent and serve, and how do we get education out for folks?
What happened in Illinois is really very devastating to the family, and the poor child was dead because of feelings of hatred and basically xenophobia. The communities, communities of color in general are always under attack. Palestinians, Arabs, Muslims, Jews. Unfortunately, this has become almost like a trend in American society, and that is truly disappointing. America is supposed to be the place where everybody really enjoys their life in happiness and the pursuit of happiness. Things like this have a lot of political connotations as well. I mean, we need to know how to talk to each other. We need to know how to educate the public. The media is definitely very, very responsible to what reaches the public. And, a responsible media would produce a responsible and knowledgeable audience, but also the audience has a responsibility of also looking to see, where is right, what is right and what is wrong, and act accordingly.
Well, speaking of media coverage, I mean, I'm going to ask you both this. What do you make of the media coverage so far, and how do you think it's affecting the response in our local communities? And Rabbi, I'll start with you.
Just the horrific images that we are seeing of slaughter in Israel, of the way in which Israel's response, of course, impacts people who are not part of Hamas, who are living in Gaza. These are horrific images to see. That does not excuse people acting out of a place of violence that is provoked by those images.
Dr. Harb?
What is really emerging is a very, very ugly picture of the human condition in the Middle East between Israel and the Gaza Strip. This is really it's very, very bad for coexistence. It really reflects badly on how we manage conflict. The killing of civilians should be condemned by everyone. And what is going on today is just simply a continuation of hatred, and it should stop right away.
What is it like watching that from afar and then living in a community that may not understand those ties, Dr. Harb?
It's very, very difficult. It's difficult to you walk out your front door and you're wondering whether somebody is going to be attacking you verbally or bodily. By the way, this is unfortunately, this happened in September 11 after the terrible events of September 11, and it continues now. I think that politicians should also play a part here. Politicians sometimes use these occasions to just advance their interests, and that's something that really should not be tolerated.
Rabbi Steinberg, I know that we have certainly heard many stories, many Jewish stories out of the area, the Gaza Strip, and the region at large. I mean, how do folks in your community manage that, being here in the U.S.?
There are so many connections between Jewish community in the United States and around the world with Jewish community and with others in Israel, ties of family, ties of friendship, people we went to school with, people who are professional colleagues. And so the experience has been of the degrees of distance collapsing by the day and sometimes by the minute as we reach out to make contact with our friends in Israel, and in some instances with our friends who identify as Palestinian.
So we've seen protests in Arlington, in Boston, on college campuses, right? In New York City and in other parts of the country. Folks both wanting to elevate voices, elevate communities, and things like that. How do municipal governments and administrations of institutions that are trying to manage a dialogue or trying to be on the right side of this conversation, in whatever that looks like, what are the best practices in those spaces? And Dr. Harb, I'll ask you first.
They definitely have a responsibility of educating about the real facts, not the alternative facts that were mentioned a few years back. Administrators in universities and politicians and on the local level, on the federal level, on the state level, everywhere should be responsible for trying to educate people. We cannot stop somebody from protesting because we disagree with their point of view. But at the same time, we should always emphasize the fact that, it's good to have your point of view, but also it's good to have a rational point of view, a point of view that really has the facts behind it. And definitely we have First Amendment concerns. Everybody should be allowed to express their points of view, also.
Rabbi, I'll ask you the same question.
Yeah, well, I agree that education is vitally important. I agree that in this country, freedom of speech is a value that we cherish. It is horrific when people abuse that freedom of speech to intimidate others. Not every speech act of hate is a hate crime. But when you ask about the role of local government, it is very important that they do identify actual hate crimes and prosecute those fully, because that also conveys a message to the community about what is tolerable and what simply cannot be tolerated.
Is that statement need to be as clear as possible in municipalities like in the town? Like, do towns need to come out with statements when anything like this happens, Rabbi?
Well, yeah, well, I can say it has been heartening to see elected officials show up at community gatherings and speak this week. And of course, all of them are speaking against hate. I hope their words are reaching the audiences that need most to hear them. Very often it is the communities in pain that are gathered around to hear the elected officials speak, and we know that hate is wrong. The elected officials too, I think, and Dr. Harb is right about this, have to think in their elected roles how one educates and influences community and how one counters hate.
We have to hope that those statements are enough. Thank you so much, Dr. Harb and Rabbi Steinberg. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, next up, slow zones continuing along several lines of the MBTA, and track repairs shut down parts of the Red Line. Even more construction could be ahead on the T, if you can believe it. Now, the agency is holding public meetings this week for a project that would connect the Red Line and the Blue Line. GBH News transportation reporter Bob Seay joins me now with more. Bob, I think a lot of folks are like, oh no, more construction.
Well, there's going to be a few years before this construction happens. But this is the famed red-blue connector. And there have been two big missing links in Boston's transit system. One, of course, is between North and South Station, which is going to take a while to fix. But the red-blue connector that is connecting the red and blue lines has been a long sought-after goal for years and years and years. And this week, we got our first look at what it might be like when they finally build it.
Why is this needed right now?
Well, if you're on either the orange or the blue line, if you're trying to get from the blue line to the red line right now, you have to go via the green and orange lines. So there's this extra transfer that you have to do at Government Center and State Street, and it just takes extra time, and it's been kind of a hassle that people have had to deal with. And people have always asked, why haven't those two major lines ever been connected?
What kind of destruction are we talking? Destruction.
Yes.
Disruption. I think it's going to destroy a lot of people's commutes, right? Like for some time.
Yeah, first of all, they don't expect it to begin for another 4 years.
Okay.
And it will take 5 years to complete. And it will actually be traveling through a tunnel underneath Cambridge Street for about 2,000 feet between Bowdoin Station and Charles MGH. Now, they won't be boring the tunnel underground. They're actually going to do something called cut and cover, which is where they excavate these trenches and then place sections of the tunnel down in there and then cover it with dirt afterward. And this is supposedly a bit cheaper and a little easier to do than the boring kind of thing. And they say that there will be 2 lanes of traffic on either side of Cambridge Street during the construction, so they're not anticipating, really major disruption, but it certainly will be, something to look at when you're driving past.
So there's existing infrastructure already there, or
No.
they're sort of digging these holes?
This is going to be a whole new big dig, and they're going to basically connect up at Charles MGH, and Mass General is actually building kind of one of the parts of the station so people can access the hospital more easily. Oh. And one of the goals of this project is really to provide people who live along the Blue Line, especially in communities like Everett, Chelsea, a way to get into the Mass General complex, which they don't have right now. So it's expected to provide an easier access to health care for the residents of those communities.
So the big question is how long is it going to take, and how much is it going to cost?
It's going to cost a lot.
Yeah.
Last night, the estimates that they gave were about $850 million. $1 billion. by the time it's all done.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about $30 million that's already been committed for the design, but they do not have a funding source for the rest of it yet. And that's a big question that's going to have to be answered. It will hopefully begin construction in 2027 and probably be finished by 2033.
So the question, I mean, I think when folks hear about Big Dig, we know that the Big Dig took much longer than it was supposed to and costs a lot more than it was supposed to. Is there any plan in place to sort of keep that in check this time?
Well, it's not as big as the Big Dig,
well,
so it's a little more under control. But that always is going to happen, those inflationary costs. And I think the funding is going to be a big concern. But at the hearing, it was interesting. There's very few MBTA hearings I go to where everyone is absolutely unanimously supportive of this project. There's no one who said this is a waste or shouldn't be done. Everybody spoke very passionately about the need to have it. And there were about, I'd say, 70 or 80 people at the hearing, so that was significant.
And I understand that Bowdoin Station is going to close?
Yes, they're planning to close Bowdoin Station once the whole project is done. They're going to close Bowdoin Station because they can use some of that space that Bowdoin Station occupies to store some trains. But it was interesting, Fred Salvucci, the former transportation secretary, lamented that because he said Bowdoin was his favorite station. He hated to see that taken down, but he understood why they would do it.
And I imagine, too, as well, when a station closes, there will obviously be another option for some folks who may be using that.
Well, I don't think the Bowdoin Station is going to be necessary once this final line is completed. Right now, there's a circle where the trains go around Bowdoin Circle, and you know, people get off, and then the train continues on its way. But it's a very tight circle; it can't really handle a lot of equipment. So, it was thought just do away with it and have the straight shot right to Charles MGH.
So folks can be excited, but they'll have to wait and see.
Like a lot of these things, they take time.
Absolutely. All right, Bob Seay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Crystal.
And finally tonight, while American icon Bob Ross has been immortalized through his popular PBS show, The Joy of Painting, his legacy also lives on in an elite group of CRIs, that's Certified Ross Instructors. Edgar B. Herwick III recently met up with the only CRI in Massachusetts for a chat and a lesson.
Believe it or not, there is such a thing as a certified Bob Ross instructor, and there is only one of them in the entire state of Massachusetts. Today, we meet her and find out what it's like to learn to paint like the man with the hair from a certified master. It's real now. What's going to happen here?
All right, I'm going to walk you through a painting. We're going to do a little demonstration, maybe make some happy accidents, a little Northern Lights vibe.
All right, what do we need?
You need an apron, sir.
Anything could happen.
Watch this.
What?
So if you ever watch Bob on TV, he always said, I've gone ahead and prepped my canvas.
Yeah.
So,
and that's literally just putting these layers.
There's
so that
colors on there
I got
already.
it.
So now the magic happens.
Clever.
I grew up watching Bob on TV, and he was everything when I was a kid. I got a Bob Ross kit in 7th grade, and I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach art.
Maybe there's some happy little trees live back here.
Squish. Squish right in.
Push it in.
Now roll the brush on your fingers, back and forth, and drag upward. Just keep dragging. Don't stop. More twisty. Go back and forth. It's Christmas. It was in a white box. It had pictures on the back, and there was one with a covered bridge. And I was like, great, I don't need to open anything else. Move. Get the table empty. I need to paint this covered bridge right now. And that was like, yeah, I was very much like, okay, art's my thing. That's what I'm going to do. I went to art school with the intention of teaching in public schools. So did everyone else. And there was like this many jobs in the early 2000s. So I had a bunch of other jobs. And then I was like, I'm going to open my own studio and see what happens. Amazing. You know what? Let's call that cool. Step 2.
Yeah.
We've applied pigment.
Okay.
Now we're going to soften. So you're going to start here, and you're just going to stir very gentle little circles, and you're going to go all the way up off canvas. Nice, good 2-inch, 3-inch circles.
Okay.
I would actually cock your handle up towards the ceiling a little bit, and you want to use just this
just
little
a corner.
front part.
Okay.
Perfect. These nice little dark areas, when you step back, that's little pockets of dark. Can't have light without the dark.
Got it.
Well, let's wipe this off a little bit. Barely touching.
I see.
It's going to start to move some of that paint.
As I understand, you're the only certified Bob Ross instructor in Massachusetts that we know about. Is that true?
In Massachusetts, I'm the only.
You're
only
it.
one.
How did it happen?
My studio's been open for 13 years. Several years ago, decided that I wanted to do Bob Ross classes. We had Bob projected on a screen, and I would pause Bob and co-teach with Bob. Bob Ross Company called me. I was actually really excited because I was like, oh, Bob Ross. And they were like, no, like cease and desist. Oh, yes, 2 hairs and some air, just real soft. It's actually quite vigorous training program you have to go through in order to do that. I was like, well, that's crazy. I have a business that was very much at the time a one-woman show. And then like a week later, I was like, but I really like these classes and people really like them and like nobody's doing this and it's really fun. And I'm like, I know it's a little crazy, but it's like just a month of my whole life, you know? Does it feel good? You feel it?
I don't know what it feels. It feels something. It feels something. It feels, I don't know.
So real gentle. Just soften this over here. Little circles. 2 hairs and some air. And you paint 8 hours a day, all day, Monday through Friday. We painted a full Bob Ross painting every day. We like way slowed it down to like really break down the techniques themselves. And push in real firm before you steal. And you can let it drag all the way. Go right to the bottom.
Yeah.
There you go. Try and keep your fingers off the bristles, otherwise you're gonna skew the shape of the brush.
I got it.
I think we did like 30 paintings while I was there. So it was just paint, 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 paint.
Got some bright spots, but that's okay. That's
well, it's good. I mean, water's moving, right? You absolutely get better at it though. You know, the trees get easier every time, the mountains get easier every time. Well, it's kind of like almost like trick painting. It's very little simple techniques and motions that when built up together, you're like, oh, no kidding, look what I just made. And that's exciting. Now you're just in the zone, you're just painting to paint.
It's weirdly, it is like weirdly like calming,
it
right?
Is,
like
it
it's
is.
just all of a sudden, I'm just like, yeah,
that's great.
Here I am.
And when you're in that spot where you're not sure, stop. Step back and check it out.
I'm gonna do this.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. What are the privileges that come with certification?
I got a badge.
You have a badge?
I do. And then, you know, I can now say, like, I'm teaching legit classes with Bob Ross's name. Like, this is the Bob Ross experience that you're getting here, that you can come paint like Bob Ross in one day. So...
Okay, now what? Is it done?
Bravery test?
Bravery test.
Bravery test.
Okay.
So, is that a big old tree?
What?
I'm going to do one, you're going to do one.
We're going to make happy trees?
A happy one. Not a melancholy, only happy.
We're making happy trees.
This
is unbelievable.
All right, so we're gonna use some black paint. Holding my handle up, I'm gonna use the front mohawk edge.
Yep. Boom.
We're pretending that's a trunk. We don't actually want it to be a trunk. It's just a guide, so we know half our tree lives to the left and half of it lives to the right.
Okay.
I'm gonna load often. I'm gonna hold my handle down and out to the side.
Yeah, I see.
Everything we do for the tree is a stamp. We're not brushing a wall, we're just stamping. Stamp one.
Stamp, got it.
As we get wider, we stamp to the right, we stamp to the left. It's been fun, I love it. And I get to do what I love every day, and you know, I'm never like, man, I have to go paint with people today. Yeah. What a bummer. So it's good, it's fun, it's a fun job. I do kind of feel, you know, with my badge comes great responsibility.
Looks just like how it looks on TV with Bob Ross. It's happening.
I think you can do it. Let's load it.
I have no idea why you think I can do this.
I have faith.
All right, so just straight down.
Let gravity do the job, drag it straight down. And just touch. Now pick it up. Keep your handle of your brush the same way the whole time. And you're just stamping back and forth like a zigzag. And just touch right across. So stamp, stamp, stamp to the right. Now stamp, stamp, stamp to the left. Stamp to the right. Stamp to the left, stamp to the right, stamp to the left. Now stop. Yours is as wide as this, so you can rotate your brush. Now you're just gonna use the whole front.
Ah, I see.
We get people that come from all over. I get kids that come in here sometimes, like little kids, 3, 4 years old, and they're like, are those Bob Ross's paintings on the wall? Or they'll see, you know, my Bob Ross cutout, and they'll be like, Mom, Bob Ross. I think that the name of the show has summed it up, like the joy of painting. Like, painting just shouldn't be for a few people, and it's not this elitist activity. Now, is everyone good at it? No. Is everyone gonna make a masterpiece for a museum? No. But should you get to try it and have something that's fun, relaxing, calming, you can do it with your friends, you can do it with family, and have that experience and try something new. Even the masters had to be new at some point. So I think that it's cool to have people come in and say, no, I can't possibly do this. And then they're like, I just did that. It's fun, and it should be fun. That is awesome. I love it.
It's a little fuller than your tree.
That's all right. Trees, much like people, are all different. Let's throw a quick highlight on this tree.
Yeah.
I'm going to do mine, you're going to do yours.
Sure, if you say so.
Do you want light blue, light green, or pink highlight?
Light green, right?
All right, so go ahead and throw some white in there. Both sides, front and back.
boom.
Still
Yep.
some green there. We're gonna do the exact same thing we did, but
Okay,
less.
okay,
Ready?
yeah, but with a brighter
watch
color,
here.
so it's
I'm
gonna be
use the
much more
corner
visible.
here. Just gentle, like barely.
Yep.
Look at how I'm barely touching.
Yep.
And we're gonna kind of right align this.
Yeah.
So we're staying mostly to the right.
Because that's where the light, in theory, is coming
Sure.
from, right?
Or if you want to do left, we can meet in the middle, because if we're getting fancy, our light
Yeah,
source
if that's
is here.
yeah, totally. So I'm
And
gonna do
now,
the
when
left.
I say mostly left, I don't mean stop abruptly at dead center.
Yep.
And just barely touching. And you could do this in different colors. You're going to do more of the phthalo green.
That was a little
That's
heavy.
all right. It can come right off. And now once you're as wide as you want as the brush, rotate forward, and just stamping. No brushing at all, just stamping. Good. Got it. Don't be afraid to go a little right of center. That looks amazing. Nice texture. That looks awesome. Nailed it. That was a happy tree.
Do you have a favorite Bob Ross saying? He's got all those little catchphrases.
Let's get crazy. I don't do subtle or calm really, so let's get a little crazy. Let's make some choices. You want me to throw a mountain in real quick? I think I probably say happy accidents more than I should.
Yeah.
So I guess that one too, about just life in general. It's good solid life advice. So yeah, those two. Get a little crazy though.
It's like magic. It's like
Happy trees
it
and
is-
some mountains.
Wow.
I think we should give you one more quick bush lesson.
Okay.
Real fast. You're gonna make a snowy bush in the corner. All right. So just straight up and down with your handle.
Yep.
Right at the bottom here. Just make a little bush. So just stamp. Now go down a little bit. Save some of that dark, so it looks like that bush is
Yep.
behind the other one. You should stamp all the way across the
Yep.
foreground there. Skip
We're
our
just-
trees and you do all the way across.
Yep, here we go.
All right. And then the details that open your Etsy shop tomorrow. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Hold this brush using just this little skinny edge right here. You're
Yep.
gonna place it in the bush and just gently drive it up, and you're gonna draw some little sticks with the paint that you're stealing from the bushes.
So like here?
Yep, just place it down and gently just slide that whole little edge up. There you go. See these little sticks
I
that are coming
see.
out? Make
Yeah.
some go that way, some go that way, and drive a
see.
few little sticks coming out. Boom. Skip a space, go somewhere else and throw a few more.
I see.
The ring, saved by the bell right there, sir. That was, I feel like this is what we need to do. This makes it official. High five.
Yes.
Boom, cheers.
A Curious Winter by Edgar B. Herwick III.
This is amazing.
Voila, the joy of painting. Our thanks to Emerson College for keeping us curious. I'm Edgar B. Herwick III. You stay curious out there.
Now, for more information from GBH's Curiosity Desk, head to GBH News' YouTube channel. All right, everybody, that does it for tonight, but come back tomorrow. I'm Crystal Haynes. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
On the American